T-Pound.
In a world,
Shut the hell up.
where Carolina Panthers fans
Anthony from Charlotte, keep motherfucking pounding.
have an insatiable thirst
I need to see a lot more of that shit going forward.
for Panthers news and opinions.
All my C3 brethren from the C3 Legion.
Only one podcast roars ferociously.
The longest running Panthers podcast on the internet.
It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Oh, Greg, I owe y'all $100, man.
What's the deal, Panther fans? It's Tuesday night. It's a little after 9 p.m., but we're still here. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Where every night we chop up the latest news and opinions from the fan perspective. It's the worst time to have stuff to talk about because guys are hitting the PUP list. People are dealing with injuries. Man, I don't know if there are some things to actually be concerned about. We've been debating it in the background, Cody and I. I'm concerned about the tight end situation. I'm trembling that we're a tight end away from the 2025 season. And Cody's a little concussed as the Josey Jewell has been released. Hey, man, sad, tough story when you dig into it. A man that suffered a concussion.
A 7-month concussion.
Well, yeah, and this happens is that the symptoms linger and you can't pass the protocol. And now the Carolina Panthers have released him under an injury designation, and he's got to focus on his health while the Carolina Panthers are about to enter training camp. We're happy to be here. I'm happy to be with my homeboys. I'm always happy to be here hanging out with my wheelman, Cody Lack. How you doing, my
Tony
friend?
Dunn, Panthers football is upon us. The Panthers have officially reported for training camp. We are now at the part of the season where we're getting news, brand new news that's relevant to the Carolina Panthers, and we are here to feed all the thirsty cats in the YouTube chat room. Some have called them the best damn Panther fans in all of YouTube, Tony Dunn. You know them and love them. It's ERH the Max, Jake the Snake, Dan Floyd, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, John B. Jenkins Go Fish, Panther Pickle, the Cardiac Cat 13, Tyler Jones, and VR the Hope Diller, and Kristen Butler right in at the bell. Tony Dunn, ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
The number is 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. People watching on X, go ahead and hit the repost. If you're on YouTube, smash the thumbs up button. Share the link with a friend. If you're on Facebook, subscribe, do all of that. Be a friend, tell a friend. CK's our friend, and he's here with us every Tuesday night. What's good, my friend? Lots of friends there.
Yes, lots of friends, but wouldn't have it any other way. We got training camp upon us. We have the storylines starting to build up. We have the reports starting to come out. We have the press conferences from coaches. Man, we're on the precipice of things. We're just a week and a half out from us being in Charlotte, minus one very important member of the C3 Panthers podcast. But we'll be all there enjoying ourselves, and he'll be able to live vicariously through our Twitter timelines here. But man, just excited to be here talking about actual Panthers football and not just speculation or anything along those lines.
Yes, wish we didn't have much to talk about, but there is. We'll be starting out with injury news, moving to your phone calls, and then rounding out the show with Joe Person's most recent story, or one of his recent stories on The Athletic, about the 10 most important storylines to his, or that he's looking at going into training camp. We want to get your thoughts on what your storylines that you want to know about, and we'll kind of probably debate with each other how much we're interested or where we would rank these. Cody Lack, tonight's show, linebacker cuts leads to ifs, ands, and buts as roster depth comes into question. I don't see where your aunt has nuts in that one, but then she'd be your uncle.
Yeah, but we do have butts, and lots of them. But are they the right butts to fill in the right depth at the linebacker position? Let's jump into it, boys. Today, we got some shocking news. that the Panthers released Josey Jewell, who had 97 tackles last season. He's been experiencing concussion symptoms from last season and wanted to take care of his health first. Very understandable. We know how hard those concussions are on linebackers. The Panthers released Josey Jewell after the veteran continues to experience concussion symptoms. The 30-year-old Jewell wanted to prioritize his health and recovery and be considerate of his teammates, and the move allows the Panthers to move forward with a group of players who are able to get all the practice rep when camp opens tomorrow. If all goes well with his recovery, he could return to the team at some point in the future. He signed a 3-year contract during the 2024 season, started 12 games last year. He was second on the team with 97 tackles, also had 7 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, and an interception. He missed the last 2 games of the season with the concussion that he sustained against the Cardinals. In the offseason, the Panthers signed Christian Roseboom on the first day of free agency, and we still have our 2024 third-rounder Trevin Wallace with starting experience. However, the depth, boys, does not look very good. Claudin Sherrills, Jacoby Windman, John Raddington, Bam Martin Scott, and undrafted free agent Tuasivin Nomura are the rounds out the depth on the Panthers. So, boys, we've said that the safeties and the corners are very shallow at depth. Now we officially have to add linebacker to that list as well. Up here on the screen are some of the free agent linebackers still left on the market. Boys, what does this mean for the Panthers defense, and how surprised are you by this?
Big blow, CK, in the wake of Shaq Thompson. Right. The Panthers saying that it's kind of time to move on to a different direction and get younger and look towards the future at that aspect. But at the same time, you suffer this blow right here. Mm-hmm. It leaves Dan Morgan a little concussed in what to do. And I don't know, can the Panthers handle it with Trevin Wallace, Rosebaum, right? And
Christian Roseboom.
What's the depth again? Go back. What were the names that who do we have that can play the right? Trevin Wallace. Really, to be honest, you need that mug to really be the guy this year.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm okay with Roseboom. He had familiarity with the Giro Rivero's defense. They brought him in for a reason. He was never very good in coverage, which I think is an issue. We have Trevin Wallace, who I think there's a bunch of fans of. I know I'm a fan of Trevin Wallace. I really like what he can do. I'm okay with those two being our starters for this season. But it's that depth that scares me, man. Claudin Sherrills, Jacoby Windman, John Radigan, Bam Martin Scott, and Tuasivin Nomura, who a lot of people are fans of, but that's asking a lot for an undrafted free agent to come in and be a meaningful contributor to this team right now. Do the Panthers look to add some depth because of this surprise release?
I mean, yes, I think that there's going to be a natural need to continue to add to that room. If there's not a focus on, after losing a veteran that, I'll be honest with you, odds are they were probably counting on that guy to be a contributor this year. I know that they filled some of those spaces, but that was coming into the season still a position group that we were all very concerned about. And so now that that's even thinner of a position group, if there's not a focus on getting that shored up, I'd be thoroughly surprised.
Interestingly, one of the names on this list that might actually be a guy that would be the type of player you go out and get, the Grugler Hill guy. He played for the Carolina Panthers in 2023, right? So I guess
Cabo Grugier Hill.
Yeah, Grugier. It's like a cheese.
Maybe he's French.
Yeah, I mean, that's maybe a type of player, because really, you kind of want a depth player. I think this is I'm okay with this being the Trevin Wallace stepping up and needing to be a guy this year. because, you invested a lot on him. How long are we going to wait for somebody to come in? Dan Morgan goes out and handpicks him as the linebacker. You pass on the guy that went to Pittsburgh that was training with Luke Kuechly, things like that. It's got to pan out. And you don't want to have to force it. I mean, I don't think the Panthers were trying to force the issue and just saying, hey, you're starting no matter what. You got to be the caller.
Right.
But they did. He had some experience in when some of these guys went out earlier when Shaq Thompson got hurt and he had to go in there and had to grow up real quick. And that's where he was talking about the communication, hearing the plays come in your ear. I think I think you need a guy that's a depth piece, not a guy that you're going to come in there and ask to be the starter from day one, or at least if it is, it's just so you don't have to just tell Trevor Wallace is like, it's you or nothing.
So, looking at this list, right, and Cruz Hill's an outside linebacker.
Okay.
We need that depth on the inside. So on this list, I see Eric Kendricks. Eric Kendricks was a great inside linebacker for a long time. I believe for the Minnesota Vikings. He then played for the Dolphins, but also, dude, C.J. Mosley still out there. I would love to have him on this team. I don't know how much the Panthers are looking to add a linebacker of that caliber.
Right.
33 years old, though. I mean, Matt Judon, 33. Well, he's outside linebacker. So Mosley, you got a 33-year-old player.
Javarian Bentley.
He's 29. These are going to be all piecemeal players. You're also going to have some guys that will get cut around camp time. So I don't know if this is panic time necessarily for the Carolina Panthers.
Shout out to the prowling veteran, says Mosley retired.
Okay.
Great. So that cuts the list even further. Zach Cunningham is the name of a player who's still out there. I don't know, man. It's a weird spot because you would need depth more than anything. Because, like I said, I believe that Wallace and Roseboom are the two starters at inside linebacker for the Panthers, and I'm not upset at that. I think both of those guys can do a serviceable job this year, but it's just everyone behind them. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how Dan Morgan decides to go about this.
Mike Kay was asked this. I mean, this is a response to his video he put out on X, releasing this news and talking about what was going on with Josey Jewell and BY9 supporter at Shadamak says, thoughts on Bam Martin Scott. And Mike Kay's response was, they like him. I like him. 25-year-old player that had played with previously played. I think he played with this. I don't even know what the name of the school would have. I'm not the school. He played for South Carolina. That's why you don't like him. He played for. Came out of like one of these.
Who are you talking about?
Bam Martin Scott.
Yeah.
He played with Dodge City. Okay, so Dodge City Community College, and then he went to South Carolina. He's 25 years old. I don't know. I mean, there's going to be an opportunity for some of these guys to get a little time. It's 2000, so he's 25. Dodge City Conquistadors and South Carolina Gamecocks. When they said Dodge City Conquistadors, I thought that was like an arena football league.
It sounds like one, doesn't it?
It was a community college. My bad. But that was what.
Get it together.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, what a cool name for a community college, the Conquistadors.
How pressing is it, do you think, that we need to sign another linebacker?
I think you wait till cuts.
Yeah. You don't think you look for somebody right now? Like, you think that, I mean, we signed somebody to replace him, or not to replace him, but we filled his roster spot, correct?
No, I don't believe so. Not
so
yet.
we have an empty roster spot, right? So what would be the alternative here? Like, going after a guy at the end of this training camp, or when they start to do the cuts, is there going to be somebody that you would say that they're going to go after that was an immediate upgrade over any of these available linebackers that are getting cut off of other teams? We have no idea who
those cuts would be.
Right, and wouldn't you rather? But you're right. You have no idea.
Maybe a Shaq Thompson,
right? But that's
player gets released.
Right, but that's my point. Is like, you're talking about a guy who is going to get released off of another team I'm just saying there's a part of this that I'm looking at that is, do we really want to put ourselves in a situation where we're hoping that a guy is going to come available that fills that spot if there's guys out there that are an immediate upgrade over Josey Jewell?
Yeah, but I don't know if there is a guy that is a real upgrade at this point. Like, I don't know if there's anything that's out there so sexy. We just look at that list and we go, oh, that's the guy that all of a sudden makes us better. And then, and I think I understand what you were intimating is, well, he's getting cut from another team, so why would you want him? But there are going to be difficult decisions that teams have to make because 100%. They have too many at one group.
Sure.
Right, where a veteran player or somebody gets released just because they know that they need to keep a little more depth at something else. I just don't know if this is panic time. Right. But this, I will tell you, as we continue to go on with this list, the news when it comes to injuries is not on the side of the ball where you have really any room for this. I mean, obviously on the defensive side, and then when you look on the other side of the ball, the position groups that these are happening, it's like, could it happen at a worse position group?
Right.
No, really not. I mean, especially when we had such an issue stopping the run last year, you kind of need serviceable linebackers to be able to do that. Shout out to VR, the Hope Dealer, for the 199 C3 bomb. Says, I know Dan Morgan knows linebacker talent. Still, it's hard. It definitely is. I really don't know what they're going to do. I kind of agree that I think we're probably going to wait to roster cuts. I mean, listen, I know, speaking of Hope Dealer, you can call me a dreamer, but I'm kind of hoping that Tuasivi, the undrafted guy, the Samoan guy, that he's able to come in here and make a name for himself and look sort of how he did in college. I know he went undrafted, but, we're in need of another undrafted player that can come in and do some damage. We had Coker last year, Jalen Coker. Why couldn't we have another one? I don't know, man. We'll see. Because we have two serviceable starters, I don't know how pressing the need is right now. So I do think that you're right. We probably will wait until after roster cuts, but I don't know. It just depends on how pressing the issue Dan Morgan thinks it is.
All right. What's next up in the news? I guess, sadly, at this time, it's called the injury news. Time of the season. Panthers tight end Tommy Tremble, who just signed a 2-year extension, has been placed on the PUP list to start training camp. He'll be eligible to return once medically cleared. He just had back surgery like a month and a half ago.
Yeah, so
he
Tommy
signed
Tremble,
his contract, then got back surgery.
Thank you to Jorge Marcelo for the 199. Says, what about Tuasivi Nomura, the undrafted free agent from Fresno? Yeah, that's the guy I was talking about. I would love if he could be another meaningful contributor, but hopefully he has a good training camp. We'll have to see. But on to Tommy Tremble, who I have been a big fan of. I think I defended Tommy Tremble much like I did Chuba Hubbard when there weren't a lot of fans of this guy. But I'm a fan of Trimble. I'm a fan of what he can do. But as you alluded to, Tony, he was placed on the PUP list. The Panthers will be without 3 players starting in camp. Dan Chisena, Sam Martin, and Tommy Tremble. They can be activated from either list at any time during training camp. He had back surgery in May. So, this is another one that's been going around because recently Noah Fant, the tight end for the Seattle Seahawks, has been released. And before the news broke that Tommy Tremble was going on the PUP list, a lot of fans around the internet were wondering if we might sign Noah Fant. A lot of people still are wondering if we could end up signing Noah Fant. But to the dismay of some, we ended up grabbing another player in the form of, I went the wrong way.
Tight end.
Mabry, Tyler Mabry. Who was also
from the Seahawks.
Yeah, also from the Seattle Seahawks. Mabry has been with the Seahawks since 2020, so he does have experience with Dave Canales, giving him the background with head coach Canales and position coach Pat McPherson.
Yep.
He appeared in 10 games, and he had one catch, his one catch was for a 7-yard touchdown. So, Again, we don't know much about this guy, but this is a similar conversation to the last one. How much of a pressing issue is it to make changes and adjustments to this tight end room right now? And do you think a player like Noah Fant, who had 5 touchdowns last year, could be in the running for the Panthers?
I think that the Panthers could have benefited from adding to the tight end room before the Tommy Tremble problem, right? Is that you looked at it, you're going into the season with Tommy Tremble, the rookie, and that's it, right? And, you're talking about how, what Jordan Matthews is going to make this team. I'm sure he's somewhere out there that's always – he seems to keep circling around the Panthers over the last 2 years or whatever it may be. And, he's been productive at moments in the preseason or like these opportunities, small opportunities gotten. But this was an issue at depth right away, and it had to work perfectly the way that they designed the roster. And now you're getting news that and I don't want to hear, he can – they say, well, he could be off. Yeah, he could be back. He had a back injury. He's starting on PUP list. The story said, and is this the one from this might not be the one from Panthers.com.
Yeah, this is the one from the website.
It said at one point it said that he was going to start his rehabilitation during training camp. Now, I don't know what that means, but if that means you're just starting to exercise, you ain't going to be ready. Paul Mancini said earlier that he won't be ready till November, if at all, this year. He doesn't think.
No, I don't think it'll be till November. No, I mean, to be honest, he could be back relatively soon.
Why? A back injury?
Yeah, but I mean,
what makes
I
you
think
feel
this
good
is
about
just,
why do you believe that? What? And I'm not saying that we have a reason to believe that his season's over, but we don't have any evidence to suggest that, oh man, he's just they're just being a little cautious with him.
Sure.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what I took it to mean, though. And
it said he would not begin his rehabilitation.
But who I didn't read that.
That's what it said on the Panthers.com web on their story. And here I'll read the exact words that they put out. I
think that just mean maybe begin his rehabilitation after maybe
a football rehab.
I'm not sure. We do have. Let me see if I can find it. Somebody in the chat was saying that we might that they could cut Tommy Tremble. I kind of doubt they would cut him. But I don't know, man. To me, maybe I'm wrong, but I took this to mean that he was just going to, start the rehabilitation process, not for the first time, but that he's going to rehab a little bit, see how he feels, and I kind of think that he's probably going to be ready at or around the start of training camp.
This is what this was from the story yesterday from Darren Gant. It said, first paragraph starts out that 2 guys were placed on the PUP list, one of them being Tommy Tremble. It says Tommy Tremble had back surgery in May and is expected to begin his rehabilitation work during camp. One line.
I kind of think that was misworded, though. You're not just starting to rehab right now if you got a surgery in May. That makes no sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you on that. Usually they start working you from day one and moving around, stuff like that. I don't know, but that doesn't sound like he's going to be starting to work out at camp.
I mean, did you guys watch the press conferences from today?
No, I didn't know that.
No, not all of them.
Yeah, so Dan Morgan was asked about Tommy Tremble, and he said that he's actually ahead of schedule in what they were anticipating. And he said that they will not be signing. I don't know if we're going to talk about the Sam Martin part of this. They will not be signing another punter in the interim because his is just a minor hamstring injury. So he'll be. They're just going to use the jugs machine until he's ready to go, which tells me that they really anticipate that being a very short-term issue as well. So. There's from all accounts, the way that they were describing, or he was talking in the press conference, I really have very little concern about the availability of Tommy Tremble. He didn't specifically say that it's going to be available, that he's going to be available at the beginning of the season. but from the sound of it, it is not something that he was worried about
Well,
becoming
you
an
certainly
issue.
don't want to doomsday it. You don't want to
Sure.
provide a timeline that you can't meet either.
Right.
I just know, I don't know what kind of back surgery people get, but generally back surgeries, minor, major, they all suck. I've never met anyone that has just had one back surgery and been done. It's like, oh, I'm on my 7th back. Like it helps for a little while. Then it's something else. Paul Mancini says 4 to 6 weeks of rest generally off a back surgery. Wow. I don't know. It could be anything. We don't even know. I don't know what a back surgery is. It could be like a disc. There's minor things that I'm sure there's, and I know that surgeries have come a long way in that, like a back surgery 20 years ago and a back surgery today, I'm sure are different. I just have watched enough football and followed these teams in this time period where most, not the regular fan is just, football's not here yet.
Sure.
And we've heard like, oh, had a schedule. It's going to have, got a surgery. Well, we heard that with Cam's foot back in the day.
Sure.
Yeah, we have PTSD from this type of shit, man.
February. I do have PTSD, and that is I don't generally believe that people beat timelines and expectations. You heard about what happened with like Will Levis. Had season injury, shoulder surgery,
and that always confuses me when players get that surgery done or get surgeries done right before the start of the season. Bro, you had all off season.
Nah, that means that they thought this happened with Cam a couple of times.
Yeah,
is where they put off a surgery for maybe even a whole nother season, right? Or too much, because there are differing opinions on how the rehab can go, right?
Yeah.
And I think with the Liz Frank surgery for Cam, remember, is like you can rehab maybe to a better place. And, really, you don't want to go under the knife prematurely a lot of times. You want to see if your body can heal, but then there's that precipice of, it's just not going to work. And so I bet you Will Levis was trying to work it out, therapy, get the shoulder stronger, do all these different things. And it just was like, it ain't happening. Or he was trying to make some contractual point in the season where then it was like, now I got that bonus or whatever it may be.
Dude, I wonder what's worse, having a concussion going on 7 months or complications from a back surgery. And like you said, you normally just don't have one surgery. You normally have a couple. But, dude, Josey Jewell having that concussion and still having issues from the end of last season, that's not, you probably have brain damage in some way, shape, or form at that point.
We had a player
right?
like this. Who was it? I don't think it wasn't Luke. I know we could go to Luke, but it was like, oh, they'll be back in a couple of weeks. And then it just kept lingering. I feel like it was during the rule time, or I don't think it was. I hope it wasn't Luke Kuechly. Is that? Or do you guys ever remember? I feel like I remember a guy got a concussion. Then 3 weeks went by, 4, and then they're all of a sudden they're back. They're still in the protocol. Maybe the chat can help us out, because the chat helps us out identifying that player, and hopefully we're not just still thinking of Luke Kuechly.
Shout out to Dale Haynes.
Yes.
Brand new member of the C3 Legion. We appreciate you, brother.
For $1.99, you can support the podcast instead of giving lots of first, we thank everybody for any donation, particularly their time, energy, smash thumbs up button, just being here and hanging out with us. But some people are very generous, big super chats. Sometimes we get the $50 super chat. It's great. But we can also pass the plate around a little bit and everybody a lot of people give a little. That helps just as much. So thank you for being a C3 super fan and supporting us with that monthly contribution there. Dan Connor. It sounds familiar. G-Baby said Dan Connor. There was somebody, and I can't remember, but it lingered and lingered. It was like, oh, I'm feeling fine. And then they were throwing up in the background. So
Dan Morgan also had a bunch of
tons.
Concussion.
He retired early.
Issues.
He would have been.
Do you think Jewell retires?
Oh, Michael Orr. That's a great.
That's a great one. Michael Orr. Do y'all remember the picture that Michael Orr showed
With the
of all
guns.
the no of all the pills that he was taking?
Oh,
He
no.
showed all the pill bottles that he was having to take, and dude was just on
Because
everything.
Michael's Orr concussion lasted for like 2 years.
But I remember he got his concussion week 3 against the Minnesota Vikings
Yeah.
in 2016. And then from then on, just
Mhm.
kept on having complications.
Yeah. So, all right. Another, this is a tough one. I don't like to see these types of injuries next. A guy that I think was going to be a great addition or still can be. Maybe
For
this
sure.
is a minor one. Hamstrings can be funny. Bobby Brown is suffering from a hamstring injury right now. And those are some strange injuries. Like, you can tweak a hamstring when you're running a little bit and it's sore. It can hurt for a couple of days. And then you can have one. My daughter is a dancer and she really strained her hamstring like a couple of days before dance recital. And it bothered her for like 7 months. And maybe for a big guy who isn't trying to, run a 40 every time, it might not be as something that is as problematic as a speedster who can, linger and linger. You can tweak
Right.
it and tweak it. But the Panthers need Bobby Brown in the middle.
Very
They
much
need
so.
the Brown duo, Derek Brown.
We need the
Injuries.
versatility, too. We need them at a few different positions. Like I said during the Panthers blueprint, it seems as though they have a bunch of different ideas on how to use him. And one of the reasons they signed him was because of that position versatility. So, I don't know, man. This sucks. I feel like, why does this always happen to us every year?
I think it happens
Like,
to
I feel
everybody.
like, yeah, maybe we just don't hear about it because we're not in the orbit
Sure.
of all those other teams. But I just feel like every year around this time, we're hearing about players that are dealing with these nicks and, injuries and minor things to certain parts of their body. And is that just, not
fact
getting
of life in
is
the
that just
NFL.
not getting back into football shape soon enough, before going to training camp? Like, I'm not sure what exactly this is.
Big shout out to Mike Hollinger with the $2 C3 bomb monthly contribution. He said, going 17-0 in 2025. That's the dream. The dream is also to make the playoffs. The dream is also to have a winning season. The dream is also to not be miserable. And we're not miserable right now because Mike Hollinger donated to the show. We appreciate it. Cody, what's next?
Yes, sir. Let's move on. So this is something that we got to talk about on the free for all, and we talked about it a little bit last Tuesday. But have no fear, Dan Morgan is here. We were wondering when Nick Scorton would sign, and he did so. The Carolina Panthers agreed to terms with outside linebacker Nick Scorton to his 4-year rookie contract on Saturday night. Scorton was the last remaining member of the Panthers' 8-man rookie class to sign his deal. League-wide, only the first 2 selections in the second round had signed contracts with their respective teams by the beginning of Monday, but many were starting to file in. Now, boys, I don't know if you've noticed, there is a new trend of second-round picks getting guaranteed contracts.
Or
There's a
more. Like I saw that one guy got 80%.
Yeah,
Cincinnati,
the
100%.
Patriots have
and-
done this. The Texans have done this. The Bears have done this. There's a bunch of teams that are doing this now.
Yeah.
I did not see if Scorton was amongst those who had a fully guaranteed contract. But I imagine Dan Morgan going on Pat McAfee and saying that they had a first-round grade on Nick Scorton probably factored in to that deal. And shout out to Paul Mancini. He says, he's asking, did Scorton get the fully guaranteed bonus? That I don't know. I'm going to have to look that up as of right now. I have not seen anything that says that he's been guaranteed all the money on the contract. But
Right.
shout out to Nick, man. The Panthers having a first-round grade on him probably greatly affected his negotiation power in this deal. And, later we're going to talk about the pass rush and just how important Nick Scorton is to that this season.
Spent 2 collects. Let's see. It's homecoming. Scorton's top tier production. Scorton surrender. Let's see. This is one of those that has not gotten a lot of pub about the actual how much he actually signed for.
No, and that's one of the few. That's what I noticed is like it's one of the few that didn't actually indicate, at least publicly to us, what the details are for the actual signing. So it's an interesting conundrum that we have with it because we don't really know what's going on with it. At the same time, I think that might mean that it wasn't as guaranteed as they would have liked. Because I feel like if I had to guess that the agents are the ones that most likely leak the deals, more than the team. I think the team would probably rather not have people know how much people are getting paid. But that would be my guess.
Yeah, because I saw a story that made me with that like kind of clickbaitish, you know what I'm saying? And that was Bengals sign rookie player to important deal or something like that. And I thought it was going to be the guy.
Shamar Stewart.
Yeah, and it was their second round pick, and he got 80% guaranteed.
Yeah.
So we haven't heard, and it looked like from the way the story, at least the Panthers have been talking about this, they're pubbing him up a lot, is Scorton has been in Charlotte the whole time. Like it hasn't been a very contentious situation. He just said, man, I let the agents handle this stuff. Big shout out to Dale Haynes with a $10 C3 bomb. He says, appreciate you guys bring us all the Panthers content every week. You guys are the GOATs of Panther Nation. Thank you. You're the
Dale.
GOAT, brother. You are the GOAT. You guys have
You're
been
the man,
tremendously generous. And we'll talk about Scorton and Princely Human Mealin later in the show because there's going to be a lot of need right now for the Carolina Panthers to get production from rookies. You got a rookie tight end that you're going to need to be playing a lot potentially or counting on a lot more than maybe even wanted to. And it looks a lot of the game plan when it comes to the Panthers defense is really relying on these young draft picks to actually work. And you'll hear some sad stories and PTSD about Tony Dunn waiting for a draft pick at defensive end on this team to work. Oh my gosh. I mean, I thought it was going to be Coney Ely. I thought it was going to be Coney Ely after that Super Bowl. I thought the bug handed the keys to the car in year 2. Didn't get it done.
Brian Burns, Toro Gross Matos. Dude, there's been a bunch of Amari Barno.
What was the dude? Something Christian. His dad used to come on the radio. Who was a preacher.
DJ Johnson is another one.
Yeah,
dude, there's been a bunch, man. We need both of these dudes to work out and be good for us. And, to me, one of the things that could help save Ejiro Rivero's job is if these guys are good this year. We need these rookies to come in and make an impact. And whereas traditionally that hasn't been what happens for the Panthers.
Yeah. The Panthers have a picture up of Scorton and his cats. There's little kittens on their website right now. We're going to need him to play like a Panther and not like a kitten. We need this guy. I love his ad. I feel like these guys look a little different than some of the guys of the past.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. A little
different
bit
how?
More, like their body types a little. They look a little bit more NFL ready.
More put together.
Yeah. But I guess Scorton, which one of them? One of them was like only 255 pounds at one point. So that's a little light in the ass, as old Joe Riolano would say. DJ Johnson. Yeah, you gotta say this is that if there's a year a guy can get an opportunity, is this one.
Shout out to Paul Mancini, who says the total contract is $8.6 million, which is already predetermined and slotted based on where a player is selected. It's a signing bonus and guaranteed money that are always negotiated with teams.
Yeah, those small little numbers in the payout schedule, some, those details right there. Do we have any more news before we get to the calls, Cody? Let's see. I'll see. Let me see. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the Google Voice. Don't forget, you can be a part of the show by calling in at 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. Well, why don't we go ahead?
Let's do it.
And take some of those calls then.
Let's do it. 252-228-5098. Let's roll.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
CK, Tony Dunn, Cody Lack, the C3 Legion.
Hope Dilla, what's
what
up?
Y'all? It's the Hope Dilla checking in real quick. Happy training camp Tuesday, baby.
Yeah,
dude.
So I wanted to hit y'all up real quick, man. I just want to do some quick training camp appreciation, man.
Let's do it.
I'm appreciative, not to throw no shade, but I'm going to throw a little shade. Appreciative this year, no Terrence Marshall Jr., no Ian Thomas, no Jonathan Mingo.
Celebrate.
None of these fake camp stories, this smoke screen we've seen in years past. Oh man, they had really great camps, and then the regular season come around and they don't perform. So I just wanted to reflect on that real quick, man. Happy camp to everybody.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
I saw that Josey Jewell was released earlier today, though, man. I'm a little concerned, I ain't going to lie, with the linebackers, man.
Yeah.
I was already kind of concerned, man, with the depth at the linebacker position. And now that Josey Jewell is gone, man, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. But anyway, man, it's the Hope Dilla, man. I just want y'all to know how much I appreciate y'all, man. It's been a rough day, man. I had to get a tire fixed on my darn vehicle, flat tire, and went up to the shop, man. Picked one up, dropped the other one off, and my mechanic said, "Oh, this car needs 4 new tires."
Oh, yeah.
So that's the news I just got.
Hate that, man.
But man, I'm just grateful to have this therapy, man, in the C3 Legion. But anyway, we're gonna stay hopeful, man. I love all y'all, everybody out there. No matter what, keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
A report, rookies reported yesterday. Scorton signed all in basically the same breath, feels like. And then today, the veterans reported. Is that right? And when do things pop off? When do they actually start practicing? The team will have 15
tomorrow, I think.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow.
This is last year's schedule. All right, so they will not be hosting, as fans, you're not going to be able to go see them. Kind of a bummer. I don't know why the Panthers, I still don't know why the Panthers did that. I thought it worked out wonderful last year.
Yeah.
And it was,
it's,
I know that.
What?
Go ahead.
I mean, they're redoing the Panthers headquarters. You remember they're doing that whole training camp thing. So last year, we were worried that we weren't going to be able to do the training camp because they were going to be building the new training camp facility,
right,
or the new practice facility. But we didn't realize that they weren't building the practice facility during that training camp. It was only going to start afterwards. So they're in the process of building that training camp facility, or that practice facility. And so that's why I think that's the whole reason that they've given as to why it happened, why they're not allowing people to show up.
They're building a facility that will be used in the future, and just the construction made it too problematic for them to host it. All right. Hope Dealer, keep your hopes up. As a guy who has 3 kids, one is driving and has spent $2,000 on it. Seems like $2,000 is the number that just pops up in my life a lot recently. I've had $2,000 in car repairs for my son over the last 3 or 4 months. Tires ain't cheap. It's like going and getting a battery for your car these days. I felt like maybe I just drove little ass Toyotas back in the day, but I felt like you go get a battery for like $60. If you go get a battery for my truck now, it's like $225. Nothing is cheap. Everything almost costs $1,000 these days, and you get 4 tires, you're looking at $800 for a lot of cars. So keep your chin up, keep pounding. Let's go to the next call.
Yo, what's going on, T3? It's Anthony from Charlotte. Hope your boys are having a good Tuesday, man. Think I missed calling in last week. Just wanted to call in this week, though, as the vets report to training camp, and we're officially underway. 2 weeks out from FanFest, and, man, it's like from that point on, a month till football, and it's exciting, man. I'm getting excited. I'm getting very excited, man. Obviously, I think this is going to be a great year for us. And I just kind of wanted to touch on some stuff that's going around. You know, news is starting to pile up a little bit slowly. I think there's a lot of good content the Panthers have been putting out. The Bryce Young video, him going back to modern day. I liked that conversation he had. Just kind of talking about his legacy and like how he has to, you know, run his own race and you know, we got that, and then, you know, Ted McMillan, man, I love Ted. Obviously, we don't know what player he's going to be yet. I have good hopes for him, but his YouTube channel, man, he's dropping a lot of great content in like inside the locker room type stuff, like, you know, confidential stuff of just him like doing workouts with the boys up in Minnesota. Adam invited them up there for like a lake weekend and like to grind, and the whole group seems like they're getting along well and they have a lot of camaraderie. So that's cool stuff. But now on to like the players, like Josey Jewell. It's crazy how like this stuff doesn't leak out, but like it's crazy that apparently he's been like dealing with concussion issues since like week 16 versus the Cardinals. This kind of reminds me of the Hayden Hurst thing from 2 years ago, where like after that Bears game he got like really concussed and then he had to retire. It's an unfortunate event, especially when a guy that we signed to a multi-year deal. I thought he was solid last year. But we're really banking on these young guys, and I said this in the chat. I really don't know if Dan didn't emphasize linebacker more because of Trevin Wallace, and I think he believes in Trevin Wallace, but also I don't know how much input Ejiro Evero's having on the defensive side of the ball, because it seems like we're doing things, we're getting players that he needs at certain positions, but then we're completely not addressing other positions. It's like, you know, Ejiro Evero, when in Denver, you know, his defense was built, the 1 year before he came to us, when it was really good, was built on stopping the run and having good cornerbacks. And I feel like that's what we did in the interior, and we have J.C. Horn. But, like, the linebacker room feels like it's being completely glossed over. Hold on. I'm going to call back real quick.
All right, he's got a short follow-up to the call. We'll go back to Anthony.
Yo, what's up, C3? I'm back. So, yeah, like what I was saying was, it just feels like we've glossed over a couple positions on defense, and it just feels like a Ron Rivera ran defense or a Steve Wilkes ran defense wouldn't have these issues. But, again, I said this in the C3 Legion chat. I know some people are freaking out. Like, I know G-Baby is kind of spazzing out today or whatever. But the bottom line is, like, seriously, we weren't going to be able to fix everything overnight with this roster. And I think that's one thing. Like, I'm grateful for what Dan Morgan has done up to this point, the 2 years being a GM. Like, the roster was in a horrible position 2 years ago. Not everything's going to be fixed. The best we can hope for is that the defense is probably average this year and gives us a fighting chance in these games. Give me all your thoughts. Anthony from Charlotte. That's what I'm thinking today. Keep motherfucking pounding.
Thanks, Ant, for the call. Are the Panthers, is this glazing, is this Double E not getting as much input, or is this the Panthers not being able to wave a magic wand and do everything all at once? I think it's kind of the latter. I don't think he's driving the calling the shots by himself, but I don't think that the Panthers, I think they did as much as they could, or did a lot on defense, and maybe you could, unless you wanted maybe a higher, like something for the optics, a trade, a big giant signing. The Panthers had so many things to do, and they really allocated so many of their resources, both in free agency and in the NFL draft, to the defense. I think it's kind of you just can't do it all at once, is my initial response.
That's why I agree with what you said earlier. I think if they do something, they'll probably wait a little while until after the cuts start. But I mean, no, I don't disagree. Like, a lot of people say that we neglected the center position. Now you can still say that we have 3 really good options to play center for us between Austin Corbett, Cade Mays, and Brady Christensen. However, a lot of people were saying that we probably should start pounding the table more for a brand new young center to put in the middle of this revamped offensive line. Linebacker is another one of those where it's like all of the best teams that you can ever remember for the Carolina Panthers had awesome play at inside linebacker. That's just the truth. And right now there's a lot of unknowns at inside linebacker. Boys, I hope that Trevor Wallace is a superstar waiting to happen. We don't know that yet, but we did see a lot of good play and good film from him last year. I'm hoping that he can take another step forward.
Yep.
I'm more excited about him than I am Roseboom. I do have some questions about Roseboom, but, I think Trevor Wallace can be a really good player. But now the linebacker is right up there with safety for being amongst the worst depth positions on the team, bar none.
CK, it's funny that we go through these conversations and we might squeeze the man in the middle on this show right here, is that value and replacement value of position groups. And we've talked ad nauseum about how running backs, it's just like this is a position group that there's guys that you can pencil in, you can keep playing, you can cycle through, and they don't have to be stars. I felt like there was a time where the NFL was trying to sell us that inside linebacker was kind of that position on the defense. Where you could be a budget pick at.
No, I mean, it's I think that's been a common occurrence, but I think that might be the NFL also trying to make a concerted effort to devalue the position, because it is like it was starting to get to be a pretty expensive role to fill for a high quality person in that position. So, but I agree. I mean, I can't really speak to a time where I feel like they had talked about middle linebackers like they said, like they would when, or linebacker group in general when Ray Lewis was around, or, Luke and TD, or, Bobby Wagner, things like that. Right. I do think that you're seeing a pretty clear change in that narrative. But I think we're becoming, I think Panthers fans have long lived in a world where we do not want to see that happen. We've
had enough budget middle linebackers over the last 5 years.
Right.
We're tired of the budget middle linebacker, and you could tell me how much a shutdown corner is so much more valuable. But I know this is that our defense have always, with the great defenses that we've had in our past, have always had some dogs right in the middle, not just some okay dudes.
Yeah.
Not some Tahir Whiteheads or whatever it may be. All right. Final call of the night so far we got one more that came in after it. Let's go to another heavy hitter in Panther Pickle.
Hey, listen, this is Panther Pickle. I know today we got a little bit of what's considered bad news, but it's all, let me tell you what, Josey Jewell, we've seen these concussion things before, bless his heart. We signed Roseboom, we've got Wallace, the other guys is behind him are all super young, but that's the story of the NFL. You never know if you got a diamond in the rough. You never know these things. But it's a good time, if you want to do this things like this, it's kind of a good time to do it, because you do have final cuts coming up in a month or two, and you have other teams trying to get rid of players, so you never know what you can swing and do without or do. I don't think the punter or the nose tackle Bobby Brown is going to be out that long. I think it's real light. I think they'll be back in a couple weeks or maybe less. But you want to see Cam Jackson step up. You want to see him get more playing time. You've got a few other folks out in there, some young Crumity, a couple other young defensive linemen that you want to see what they can do, and this is just a good time to do that while Bobby's nursing a little hammy. It's all right, though. I just want to shout out to the Legion, shout out to Panther fans. Don't go jump off the edge. It's going to be all right. And, G-Baby, brother, shut the hell up. As always, Buttercup, suck it up, Buttercup. It ain't all about what you want in life. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
All right. One more call, and let's see
Yeah,
what's
man.
going after that.
Hey guys, John B. Jenkins.
John
calling in
B.
with your weekly update on alternative football from around the world. In giant alternative football league news from around the world, NFL training camps have started. So anyway, that's all I've got for today. See you guys next week. No, I'm just joking, guys. I actually have some really interesting alternative football leagues from around the world. It took place in, of all places, Toledo, Ohio. And Tony, you'll appreciate this, but the Federation for Italian American Football, which is basically the IFL or the Italian Football League in Italy, it's like their top league in the world. They just held their Super Bowl. It was like, I don't know, Italian Bowl 17 or something.
It's the Linguini Bowl.
But they held it in Toledo, of all places, and it was to grow the sport. It was held this past weekend or 2 weekends ago, I think. But anyway, I found that interesting. Now, an update on your favorite team in the European League of Football. The Panthers Warsaw unfortunately lost to the Vienna Vikings. Vienna Vikings are an awesome team, and so we really stood no chance there. But anyway, Panthers in Carolina, or the Panteras del Norte, or del Carolina, sorry. My Spanish isn't that good right now. But anyway, they have started training camp, and guys, I'm pretty psyched for that. And I really think this is the year, y'all. I got my bracelet on, and we're going to the Super Bowl. So that's all I got for right now. As always, keep pounding Carolina Panthers. Keep pounding Panthers basketball. Keep pounding C3 Panthers podcast. Go fish.
Go fish.
And I'll see y'all later. John B. Jenkins out.
Thank you, John B. with our alternative football update. Viva la football de Carolina de Norte. Norte de Carolina. Carolina de Norte. Long live football in North Carolina and South Carolina, the Carolinas. Gosh, football is here. Training camp is here. We can't watch it. And as training camp unfolds, Joe Person, he's like really the mainstay. He has been the beat writer for the Panthers that has just held it down the longest. You know, not only held it down, but has done tremendous work. Been on the podcast. Works for The Athletic. You can go to The Athletic and sign up for their long-form coverage. It's one of my few go-to news sites when it comes to sports. And he put out a story, CK, on 10 training camp storylines that he will be looking at. And we'll kind of finish out the show by going through these and I guess talking about our storylines or what we think they're misranked, however you guys want to go. Number 10, titled this, it says, who will emerge as the returners? Rasheem Blackshear, he writes, has handled kick returns every year since joining the Panthers in 2022. And last year was primary kick and punt returner, but additions of fourth-round running back Trevor Etienne and sixth-round receiver Jimmy Horn pushed Blackshear down the depth chart and likely put his chances of making the roster in jeopardy. Big flex there, Joe. Etienne, the younger brother of Jags running back of Travis, averaged nearly 25 yards in 2 seasons as Florida's kick returner before transferring to Georgia. Horn has game-changing speed and return experience from his 2 years at Colorado. The Panthers, he's saying, look at who can someone surpass Blackshear, because Blackshear is going to be at this point now on the roster, guys, where he's just going to be a punt returner. You know, there were moments where he could be a little gadget in the running back room, but now the Panthers got Dowdle. They've got their tandem. They've got Etienne. They've got some guys that they can cycle in and do there. Your thoughts on this, guys? Does Blackshear make the team? You guys like to see one of these young guys, it would be a bold move for the Panthers to say, man, we're going rookie straight up out the gate all season at return, man.
As Panther fans, that's sort of what we're all hoping will happen. I mean, both of these guys have legit breakaway speed. They have good post-contact balance. And, now you need those two returners out on field. Yeah, this is my scenario that I'm hoping for.
Cody, your mic volume went down tremendously. Somehow by accident.
They really didn't do anything.
All right. CK, anything here you want to say, or should we move on?
I'll say something really quickly. It doesn't sound better, Cody. The Blackshear thing is interesting to me because I think the thing that's holding him up, was it injuries that kept him off the field?
I'm not really sure what's been in or out. I mean, I feel like he's been involved, though.
I agree. And that's where I'm kind of confused. I'm not saying that the other people would be a good option, but I feel like Blackshear has been a pretty stand-up kick returner.
Yeah.
Now, has he been like a superstar? Absolutely not. And do I think that, somebody like Jimmy Horn could possibly? Absolutely. I could see that. But I agree. I hate to say it. I think this team is looking to build the team through the draft.
Right.
I think they're realizing that they're going to have to do like some things with regard to getting like free agents and stuff like that. But for the majority of our team, we're going to have to build through actually developing players. And so do you let maybe above average kick returner walk because you're trying to develop the potential superstar that could arise from a Etienne or a Jimmy Horn? I think there's value in that. There's also a tremendous amount of risk.
Right.
And so I don't know, but I like Blackshear personally. I think he's been a good addition to this team. I think he's been a net positive. So I'd miss him a little bit if we were to lose him.
I think it would be a big, not risky, like you said, but a bold move to just say, you know what, we're just okay with having rookies do punt and kick returns and just see what we got. There's a lot of pressure.
You forget about that, right?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of pressure though at that position. I mean, there's a lot of guys that did that well in college. Oh, who was the guy? I hated this dude. He was from Arkansas. This would have been around 2013. He was a draft pick, and he was so good in college at kick returns or punt returns. He just fumbled every time he got in the NFL. Player from Arkansas. It was like James. God, he had a name like Jimmy Horn or James something. Somebody will come up with it. Number 9 on the list.
Is this better, by the way?
No. Go to your headphones, dude, if you need to, and we'll figure out the rest in a little while. Will Dan Morgan look outside for secondary help? Joe Adams. Yes, Harvey London. That's who it was. Joe Adams was awesome in college and terrible in the pros. Number 9 storyline on Joe Person's Athletic article. Be sure to subscribe and support him. Keep those guys having their jobs out there. Says, will Dan Morgan look outside for secondary help? Right. Speculation that the Panthers could add a veteran defensive back has persisted since they hosted free agent safeties Julian Blackmon and Marcus Williams and visits in March. Justin Simmons, a safety who was with Panthers defensive coordinator Ejiro Evero in Denver, is also available. But I sense, he writes, that Morgan, Evero, and Canales like the makeup of the current secondary group and aren't planning to bring in reinforcements. Obviously, that would change due to injury or bad showing during joint practices in Cleveland Browns and Houston Texans. But the Panthers made big investments, he writes, in Horn, Morrig, and don't forget Mike Jack. They also paid this offseason. They kind of need those guys to work, and they kind of need one of these younger guys to fill the void.
So, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, better.
So, some updates. Julian Blackmon has signed with the New Orleans Saints.
Okay.
So, take him off that list. We're going to be facing him twice a year. Listen, I would like to see Justin Simmons on this team. We've talked about him a little bit before on the pod. I think that he would be a good addition to this team. I don't love the safety depth, just like I don't love the linebacker depth. I think that Justin Simmons, having prior experience with the Giro Rivero's defense from his time with the Denver Broncos, to me, that's the perfect fit for the defense. I would love for us to do that if he's willing to sign for a decent contract. So I'm in favor of that. I hope they do it, but at this juncture, I just don't know who they're going to sign and what position they're going to prioritize at this moment.
And you wonder if the linebacker issue is that at some point you can't have too many thin can't be thin as a piece of paper at too many position groups. So if you were hoping to get by at the secondary, but now you have more concerns at linebacker, maybe that leads them more to say we got to invest in one or the other. And maybe it's not just because Josey Jewell, they parted ways, but maybe this kind of inches them into a place where they need to feel a little bit more comfortable at the secondary group while they're trying to manage that linebacker position with second-year player Trevin Wallace. Next up on his storyboard is what we talked about earlier, and one that has been very concerning to me, and probably, I won't say I can see why it's listed as 8, but really a secret concern for me. Maybe not so secret after this podcast. What's the situation at tight end? Now, when did he put this out? CK, was this story, I think he published it yesterday or the day before, maybe?
Yeah, I saw it this morning. I don't know when he published it, though.
Yeah, I think it was published because I don't think he's going to mention the pup here. So he probably is going to go back and not edit, but make an addendum to this number 8 right here. What's the situation at tight end, he asked. Depending on Tommy Tremble's status, the Panthers could be in the market for a tight end to pair with Ja'Tavion Sanders and rookie Mitchell Evans. Trimble had back surgery in May, 2 months after re-signing on a 2-year, $10.5 million deal. It's tough to envision him being ready for the start of camp. And as they put him on PUP, don't expect him to be practicing tomorrow, right? One name to monitor, he wrote, is Noah Fant, who was released Sunday by Seattle. Fant and Canales and Panthers tight end coach Pat McPherson were together in Seattle. Ja'Tavion Sanders, though, is the dude, and really was crushing it last year until he had that neck injury, right? He writes this: Sanders, 33 receptions as a rookie last year, were the most by a Panthers tight end since Greg Olsen, who pulled in 52 passes in 2019 during his final season in Charlotte. And that was a rookie that rocked 33 receptions. Sanders was on pace for a 44-catch season before being flipped on his head against Kansas in Week 12. The fourth rounder has lost 10 pounds during the offseason, looking to get a little faster. He's a big, strong dude and really played not a lot like a rookie last year. He was
very dependable down the stretch in some big moments when we needed him. Came up with some contested catches. Look, I sort of feel the same way about the linebacker thing, right? I like the 2 starters that we had penciled in, right? I like Tommy Tremble, but he had the neck injury. And I like Ja'Tavion Sanders. I think Ja'Tavion Sanders is a beast. And I know we're all sort of averse to wanting to lean too much on rookie players.
Right.
But this is literally why we drafted Mitchell Evans, a short-handed tight end out of Notre Dame. He's good on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
He's good in the run game at run fits. He's able to leak out into the flat and be an open wide receiver when Bryce would need him. This is why you draft guys like this in the later rounds for moments like this. I know everybody would love to have former first-round pick Noah Fant, but I would rather cultivate the young talent that we have on the team right now and see what they can do rather than spend more money, needlessly on the offense. If we're going to be spending money, I would rather add to the depth at linebacker or at safety than I would spending money on another tight end.
One of the things I've heard throughout the years of doing this podcast, though, when it comes to some of these tight ends that you're like, and I guess Ian Thomas could be a guy that people are like, how the heck do these guys stay on the team so long? Things like this, because they don't why aren't you giving it to these younger guys who can do more in passing game? There are a lot of responsibilities for tight ends in like short yardage situations, field goal kicking, extra point kicks, right? Like in these guys, actually, not only they have to play like of a lineman capability in some of these special teams types roles. And that's what I've heard, that like some of the real adjustment for these players isn't just like going and doing your job in the basics of tight end. It's those real things that keep you in the league for 10, 12 years going on. Number 7 on Joe Person's list is here. Let me see. Will Akim Aquano extension? Will an Akim Aquano extension get done before the season? He writes, since Morgan was promoted and Canales and Vice President of Football Operations Brant Tillis arrived, the Panthers have made a point to lock up deserving homegrown players. This list features Derek Brown, Chuba Hubbard, J.C. Horn, and many. May soon include Aquano, first-round pick from 2022, who said he wants to be here for the team's turnaround. The two sides failed to get a deal done during the offseason, but Morgan has expressed a desire to keep the Charlotte native in process blue for the long term. Last spring, he writes, Canales called Aquano a dominant run blocker who needed to clean up his hand placement and footwork to improve as a pass blocker. The Panthers picked up the fifth-year option for 2026. An extension with an average value of $21 million would put the former NC State Mauler among the top 7 highest paid players at his position. Guys, do you think this is the big story here? Or is this like, man, you also have next year's offseason to deal with this too?
Yeah, am I the only one that wants no part of extending him right now? Like, I want to see the Akim Aquano be a premier pass-protecting left tackle before we sign him to an extension. It's great that he's a mauler in the run-blocking fits. I love that about him. But we need a well-rounded tight end to really be able to hold up against the best pass rushers in the NFL before we pay him that contract. To me, there's no reason to sign him right now.
CK, I think the premature might not come with the expectations of him being the premier left tackle in the league, but I'd like to see him be a good left tackle this year.
Yeah.
And then you have the opportunity of saying, we're going to get you in top 10 money after that.
Listen, I agree. I mean, I think that we need to see more. So the interesting thing is JC got paid because he played at a high level, right? And he proved that he was a great player in that 1 year. It was a great year, right? It wasn't like, you were not going to look at it and say it was great from a interceptions perspective, but you're going to say it was great from the perspective of compared to what he had been dealing with. Icky had a good year last year, but still he hasn't had a great year, right? We can't say that he's been incredible.
I would even call it even good. I mean, it was average, kind of good.
And that's a fair point, right? And I think it's okay to say that. But I also think that, again, we run into the same situation where we're asking ourselves, do we want to pay him now or do we want to pay him later if he does end up performing at a high level? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, if you go ahead and ink that extension and he plays the same as he did last year and you're still talking about him being all of a sudden you're paying a guard tackle money, I don't think this has to be done before. I mean, he didn't say it had to be. It just is, will it be done? I don't think it will. I think this is something that maybe you do. Yeah, you know what? If he shows a real improvement, I think you start working on it mid-season.
I listen. I agree with that aspect too. But you got to keep in mind, this is the part of it that I think you want to look at it. You want to make sure that he's not going to be overly expensive. Like I hate to bring Cam into this because we've already had so many conversations about Cam, but we got a bargain when it came to Cam Newton, considering what he did that year he came back, or that first year after we got signed.
That came right after him that were just pulling mega money. It almost seemed like you got him pennies on the dollar. You bought NVIDIA. I saw this, CK, you love this, is a guy on Reddit put up. He said, I told myself I would sell my entire NVIDIA position when I got to $1 million profit. And the dude over 8 years invested $33,000 in NVIDIA and made $1 million.
Oh my gosh.
And he sold it all. And he said this, I feel great. All right. Number 6 on the list is who wins the kicking competition. Joe Person writes, the Panthers will have a new kicker after moving on from Eddie Pinheiro. Where is Eddie? Where is he, by the way?
Who cares?
Okay.
I don't.
Okay. All right.
I don't know that he's been signed anywhere, to be honest with you.
I'll look it up after I read this. Pinheiro, who's third all-time among NFL kickers in field goal accuracy, but never had the strongest leg. That doesn't seem to be an issue for undrafted free agent Ryan Fitzgerald, whose 59-yarder last August against Georgia Tech was the second longest kick in Florida State history. After struggling during a rainy and windy OTA practice, Fitzgerald was 9 of 10 on skinny goalposts over the Panthers' next 2 practices with reporters present. He would appear to have the edge over journeyman Matthew Wright, who's bounced around 6 teams over 5 years, including a 1-game stint. I think I know where Cody's going on this. And if he's going, I'm dying on that hill, and I'm right on too. What do you think about this, Cody?
Fitzgerald, baby, let's go. Look, I'm a fan of someone with a big leg. I like the size. I can't help it, man. Call me a size king, if you will.
Gross.
The bigger the leg, the more I like them, baby. You already know. I think Nick Fitzgerald has the potential to be a really good football player. And, we have a lot of new players on our special teams between the punter, between the kicker. I'm a really big fan of the youth movement that I feel like the Carolina Panthers have going right now. There's a lot of really young players on this team with a ton of potential who have the opportunity to be very good players for a long time. And it's up to our coaching staff to cultivate that talent. Now,
I'm tired of us playing scared, Cody, on this. We
I
did
hear
it
you.
with Graham Gano and Harrison Butker.
Yes.
Like now it's go for broke here, sign the kid. If he gets the yips 3 weeks into the season, Matthew Wright will be available.
Yeah, that's where I'm at, man. We need to lead the youth movement amongst the Carolina Panthers. I want to see it done, man. Let's go, Jack.
All right. CK, you want to end this or next up?
Man, let's just keep it going. I think the kicking conversation is just one of those ones that I don't think is going to be interesting until we actually see these guys playing real football.
We kicked that dead horse enough.
Yes.
This one's interesting.
Okay.
Yes.
Number 5 on Person's list of storylines going into training camp. Will there be enough pass rush? He writes, the Panthers 32 sacks in 2024 tied for the third fewest ever in the league. For the third fewest in the league. Ashawn Robinson and Jadeveon Clowney paced the Panthers with 5.5 sacks apiece, the lowest total for the team leader since Nile Diggs and Damian Lewis finished with 3.5 in 2007. Those anemic 24 numbers prompted the Panthers to replace outside linebackers coach Tim Lukuba with AC Carter and move on from Clowney in favor of a youth movement at edge. After signing Pat Jones, following a 7-sack season in Minnesota, the Panthers took 2 SEC edge rushers on the second night of the draft, Nick Scorton and Princely Uman-Milan. Yeah. The Panthers need consistent pressure from Robinson and DJ Wadham, who had 4 sacks in 8 games last year. Amari Barno, another returning edge rusher, likely will start camp on the physically unable to perform list. He didn't mention at all homeboy that we drafted 3 years ago. DJ Johnson.
DJ Johnson. Yeah.
Didn't even write him in the story, did he?
No. Sure didn't. No.
What do you want to say about this, Cody?
CK, you go first, and then I'll jump.
Incoming voice call from mom.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, mama.
Hey, mama done. So I'm going to say that I don't know. Like, again, the DJ Johnson thing is one that it's another one of these situations where I feel like we got really excited about, or potentially excited about, a guy who had some potential. So it's not surprising that maybe he's not a focus on this, because he really hasn't been a priority of our defense. I'd like to see that, maybe he can turn his career around. But right now, it's not like one of these things where we're like, we need to make sure we're getting him signed either.
Or you can bet on it. Yeah.
Right. Honestly, if I'm being honest, my main thing is I'm just glad to see that we got basically everybody signed. We got our defensive line shored up for the most part. That allows us to focus on other areas. Will it be enough? I don't think we're ever going to know until these guys are playing football because, even though Scorton had a first round draft grade and top 10 the year before, there's no guarantee this dude's going to be that guy. There's a lot of optimism around that, again, to put that into place. But I just don't know. It's hard for me to get excited about a defense that's got Evero at the helm, if I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah, Tony, the more I've looked into him, I'm really excited about Patrick Jones and what he was able to do. And interestingly enough, him and DJ Wonnum both played with the Minnesota Vikings, and they both had around the same sack totals. And I think when you paired those two together, they're really aggressive, violent players coming off of the edge. And I think when DJ Wonnum came back last year, he was one of the better parts of the defense. He has violent hands and gets after the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I thought that he was better than Jadeveon Clowney down the stretch. So if you're able to pair him and Patrick Jones, if they're both able to have career years here for us, and our defensive interior, which we're going to talk about here in just a minute, if our defensive interior is able to step up, we could have a pretty decent pass rush. It's just hard to say because we have a lot of unknowns left on this team right now. And then obviously, we're all hoping that Nick Scorton and Princely Human Mulan get a lot of playing time this season. Like I said earlier, having young rookie players be meaningful contributors to this defense right now, that's important for us now more than it ever has been. And it's important for Ejiro Evero, who is, in my opinion, very much on a hot seat.
I think we need Pat Jones and Wonnum to hold it down and hopefully get some solid production out of the rookies rather than counting on them. Guys, we're going to jump back into the calls real quick because G-Baby called in, and I believe his call has to do with defense, so a great time to work it in. G-Baby in the house.
Hey. You know who the fuck it is. Booyaka! What's good with my boy?
It's good, brother.
What's good with your Cody? What's good with CK? And what's good with my white Italian brother? Let's get into it. Now, I wasn't going to call in, but once I hear my name, you dig, your boy's got to fucking call in. It's like you motherfuckers just beam that light into the fucking sky, and it says G-Baby, and I pop up. I'm fucking here, motherfucker. What's Gucci,
The G-Baby symbol.
Hey, what's Gucci with my fucking dogs on the motherfucking panel, man? I hope y'all are fucking having a fantastic night, a beautiful fucking night out there in Carolina. I'm most definitely worried about this defense. This defense is cooked. It's fucked. It's going to be the same fucking Carolina Panthers defense. You don't lose Josey, damn near 100-plus tackler on the worst defense in NFL history and expect to fucking get better. You guys can minimize Bobby Brown's hamstring injury all you want, but one thing I do know is those hamstrings are a bitch. And when you limp into the season, you limp out of the fucking season. That's what I know. I don't understand how the heart of the defense, which is the linebacker position, is the thinnest on the motherfucking team. And our GM is one of the greatest, Panther linebackers. And the defense scares me shitless. So I'm going to make some predictions. I have Bryce Young going for a fucking MVP this year because he's going to have to. This offense is going to have to put up 25 to 30 plus points a game to even fucking compete and get W's. I have this team as a 12-win team.
Good God, with
Bryce
a terrible
Young's
defense.
going to be spectacular this year. That's one thing I do know about that man. He's won at every single level: Pee-wee, fucking high school, college. Won the Heisman, was the first pick of the fucking NFL draft, and now he's doing big things for fucking Carolina. And a lot of you 10K dick jumping motherfuckers is coming out the woodwork, man. And it makes me fucking smile like a motherfucker, man. You know, I got a lot to say.
He's coming
I
back.
know the show's about to fucking end. My white Italian brother, I got another call in. I'm coming at some people, man.
We're working
Me
in
too.
a second call for G Baby, and we'll finish up this list and see how the Panthers are. They limping in or limping out? I hope they're not limping in to the 2025 season. G Baby back for more.
Baby, I'm back and I'm fucking selling hotcakes. I've been hearing this Shaq Thompson shit going around some of the fucking Carolina Panthers fans now. Y'all need to stop that shit. I'd rather shit in a fucking bag and eat it than bring that bitch ass motherfucker back here to fucking Carolina. Hell fucking no. I'd rather just run what the fuck we have with this ass.
Vintage G Baby.
That shows you how much fucking Shaq Thompson's done for this goddamn fucking team, man. Fuck Shaq Thompson. You guys just have a beautiful fucking night. Oh yeah, how could I not fucking get on Cody Lack's ass? You Kim K dick jumping motherfucker, bro. You have no nerve, bro. But you know, we got the whole fucking season to get into it because I'm on your ass this motherfucking season,
Oh,
bro.
is this about Josey
Cody
Jewell?
Lack has the audacity to say J.C. Horn is the most talented player on this fucking team, and that is absolutely a fucking lie. It's the biggest fucking lie. The most talented player is the person that plays the hardest position in professional sports, which is fucking Bryce Young. Bryce Young could have went and played fucking Division I fucking basketball. Bryce Young was Bryce Young was the number one pick.
He's 5'7"
of the NFL fucking draft. What are we talking about here? But you know, I have classified notes and a classified chat and another fucking chat. Cody Lack's over here telling me, well, fucking CJ Stroud was quarterback. Of course he'd be the most fucking talented player. Like, that's just, it's the bias shit that comes out.
You got the Epstein files on you, bro.
That make my fucking blood fucking boil.
They don't exist.
Fucking piss crease, bro. That shit pisses me off more than fucking anything, man. And you know what? If you don't like G Baby, I don't give a fuck. I'm not here for you motherfuckers to like me, man. I don't give a fuck who like me and who do, bruh. If you like me, if you fuck me, I fuck with you. If you don't like me, then fuck you, bruh. I'm not here to hold grown man's hand, bruh. Y'all is a bunch of grown-ass fucking men in your fucking feelings acting like a bunch of bitches, bruh, with a bunch of fucking female tendencies. I ain't here to hold y'all's fucking hands, bruh. Beat the fucking grown-ass men. If the fucking kick is too hard, to get the fuck out the kitchen, bruh.
G Baby. All right, we love you. I love you, G Baby. I do love G Baby. It's my boy, but I don't think he's right here on the. Bryce Young could be
5'7" and
star. No, I mean he could be the star. He could come out to be a great quarterback. But I don't know if you'd ever say that Tom Brady was the most talented player.
Yeah,
and maybe I like what does that mean? Does it mean physical talent? Right? Does it mean physical? Like I just wonder. I mean. Is that you look at Bryce Young? We're hoping that he is and becomes the greatest quarterback in NFL history. But I don't think that would ever make him more physically talented than a Cam Newton.
This is my point. In the chat room, we were talking about who is the most talented player on the team, and generally, like the James Bond says, the defensive backs are the most athletic positions on the field. I'd say it's between them and wide receiver. Maybe running back also, but man, dude, J.C. Horn, when he is healthy, that dude's ability to cover and to mirror a wide receiver, like being a wide receiver is straightforward. You know, you're running straight and you're running your routes, but being a defensive back, you have to backpedal and be able to stop on a dime and readjust to what the receiver is doing. J.C. Horn is him. He's absolutely him. He's a freak athlete.
Best athlete, most talented athlete.
But I also do think that he is the most talented player on the football team. Just pure football player. Yeah. Now, I'm hoping Bryce is incredible this season. But right now, giving Bryce that title, that's irresponsible.
If you can't run the fastest, you can't. How could you ever be you could be the best.
And to right now, he's never altered a winning season at quarterback. So I cannot give that to him.
Point. Like Tom
Sure.
Brady was the best football player on his team.
Sure.
I don't know if you ever say like the most talented in a sense. And I will say, if you guys want to know I don't know how these corners do it. Y'all go backpedal for 8 yards as fast as you can.
It's wild.
And then take 14 seconds off and then do it again. It is it's insane how much stamina it's just go backpedal. We do it in the training. I do it at my gym, and when we do backpedal, you're trying to get low, and I'm 45, or 44 this year. I'm outpacing myself, but I'm trying to be athletic, and I'm like, damn, these mugs, they're crazy good. All right, let's get back to Joe Person's top 10 storylines. I think we got halfway through. Are we at 5 or 4 now?
Now, we are at number 4.
And we really just talked about it. You know, G Baby gave us, it was like the perfect time to get into that. He said this defense was cooked and that he's worried about it. And then he went to say, G Baby, I love you. That mug lives on straight, like, if you could bottle G Baby, isn't that what we used to say, CK? If we could bottle G Baby's energy, like it would be like fuck 5-hour energies, dude. You just take a G Baby and then you like, whoo! It's like meth of football excitement, life excitement. But about this defense, is it going to be better? Joe Person asked. He writes, it would be hard for it to be much worse. You know what? Those are some famous last words I've had on this fucking podcast. And I ain't saying that shit no more, because I said, oh, how could it get worse? How could it get worse? Well, I've seen it get worse. So I just want to see it get better. It would be hard for it to be much worse, he writes. A big reason for the paltry pass rush was the fact that the Panthers were repeatedly gashed in the run game, leading to few third and long situations in which the pass rushers could eat. Morgan tried to attack the problems in free agency after rebuilding the offensive line. The former Panthers linebacker turned GM missed out on his biggest target, Milton Williams, but added free agent pieces to all 3 levels of the defense. In addition to edge rushers, the Panthers also took Ohio State safety Lathan Ransom and Florida defensive lineman Ken Jackson on the 3rd day of the draft. But the key to the ever coordinated deep could be the health of Derek Brown, whom we'll address momentarily. Yeah. I saw another story on The Athletic where they asked, like, who's the most important player to watch in training camp? And it just had each athletic writer for each team just list theirs. Joe Person's, unsurprisingly, was Derek Brown. Guys, I think we can just move on to number 3 since we just talked about the defense and defensive problems. Number 3 on the list, or you had something to say, Cody?
Well, yeah, I do want to say that out of any coach on the team who potentially could be at risk of losing their job mid-season, I think it's Ejiro Rivera. Now, I do think that Dan Morgan and Brant Tillis and Dave Canales, that they do really like Ejiro Rivera as a coach. If not, I don't think they would have given enough or given him as much leeway as they've given him after his defense gave up the most points in the NFL last year in NFL history. But I do think that he's a very easy scapegoat if this defense is still showing you the same problems and you're not able to defend the run. You know, your players are not minding their different gaps. You know, if your defensive backs are being cooked. Or, you know, let's also talk about the rookies. If Nick Scorton and Princely Human-Mullen don't look as good as promised by the talent evaluators and Dan Morgan, I think Ejiro Rivera could very easily be on the chopping block very soon if this defense doesn't look good, essentially right out the gate.
G-Baby got the whole chat room a cursing now. I like the late. I think they really just committed this is that, guys, these guys who they brought in here have to be able to stop the run. I don't care if they're in the secondary, if anything. Let's not get caught up in coverage. Do this. Lathan Ransom, hard-hitting safety. Morrig, hard-hitting safety. You know, they got to shore up this run, and nothing's going to get better. This defense can't be better unless teams can't just run all over them at will. I mean, teams were having like 80 yards in the first quarter against this team at times.
It was miserable. You felt hopeless. Because let's go back to the Atlanta game, right? We felt the best about this team than we've ever felt in the past 4 years in the Atlanta game. We let Atlanta, their offense, dog walk our defense.
Yeah, like 250 yards rushing or some shit like that.
It was ridiculous. And it was so much optimism because we saw Bryce Young come alive. We can agree on that. We saw that. But we saw this defense just in the most ridiculous situations. We played Washington, right? Let's go back to this. This is the second or third game that Andy Dalton came into the team. And so we were like, oh, man, maybe we have a shot because he just came in and he just lit it up after Bryce got benched. And we go against the Commanders. Their first drive, Jaden Daniels goes down with an injury. He does not come back in that game. We get dog stomped.
Yeah.
It is absolutely unreal, right? It's almost hopeless.
You can't give your offense a real opportunity to win if they don't get on the field either.
You can't. And listen, we can make the argument about the players and all that stuff. We were so early in the season. If these guys weren't ready to play or weren't fully juiced and capable of competing, we were far enough in the season where these guys have an idea of what this defense was supposed to be. We were far enough we were still early enough in the defense where they shouldn't have all their energy gone, right? It's not like they're worn down and they're, in a weird, stamina issue being depleted or anything like that. So I think there's only one explanation, and that's Avero's defense was just not effective. So I really don't know. As I mentioned when we were talking about the edge rushers, it's similar to Cody's opinion about Bryce Young when he was having a really hard time early on. And that is, I'm going to have to see it before I give him any grace.
And I need to see, I want to be excited about rookie players, but I continue. I'm just going to stick to what I've said is that it's a very difficult position, the edge rusher. And now you can just call it outside linebacker for a 3-4 defense. It's a very difficult position for a young guy to come in and make a difference. Now, if we need this to happen. We need one of these guys, or not both of these guys, not only hopefully to make a difference this year, but make a long-term difference on this team, or else we're going to continue to be in this hell that we've been in because we haven't been able to make a homegrown difference at this position yet. Right. And it showed. Number 3 on the story list is Teteroa McMillan, the missing piece for Bryce Young in the offense. Is this the first offense? Well, no, we have one at tight end. I think it was number 8 on the list. Everything else, nothing has really been about the offense at this point. So you could go ahead and say it's going to be this. Bryce Young's going to be number 1. My bet. My guess is it's this, Derek Brown, Bryce Young. He writes, Panthers brought back their entire offensive line, which did a nice job protecting Young and opening holes for Hubbard last fall. Rico Dowdle should provide a nice change of pace in the run game, but Canales' offense last year lacked a big-time playmaker in the passing game, which the Panthers hoped they were getting in Xavier Legette. In fact, McMillan's arrival should allow Legette to relax and settle in after rookie season plagued by drop passes. And McMillan's size, catch radius, and familiarity with Young should be a boon for the third-year quarterback who threw with McMillan during the offseason and lobbied for him with the Panthers' decision-makers. Cody, hey, look, top 10 pick at wide receiver. You need it to hit. And if it's difficult for defensive ends to adapt to the game, right, or a left tackle, right, there's some positions that feel like it's like a lot harder for rookies to make a difference. We've seen rookies at wide receiver make tremendous differences for teams, just sadly not for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I've become a really big fan of this guy after seeing and learning more about the man himself, not just the player. Dude, he has this infectious vibe, infectious energy. And, look, man, a lot of these Samoan or Islander type players, they end up being really damn good football players, man. Now, I was a little bit hesitant to draft him before the draft. I didn't feel like he was the type of wide receiver that the Panthers were looking for. I felt like we were looking for a real burner, someone that could really take the top off it. He's by no means slow, but dude, his catch radius is absurd. He's big, strong, physical, and we have seen Dave Canales have a ton of success with wide receivers that fit that exact prototype. So I'm very optimistic, not just about Tet himself, but about Tet in relation to all the other wide receivers on the team. Him and Xavier Legette, who they mentioned. Him and Adam Thielen, who's already built up an incredible relationship and connection with Bryce Young. Jalen Coker looked really, really good last year. Add in Hunter Renfrow and Jimmy Horn Jr. to this, and all of a sudden, this is the deepest wide receiver core for the Panthers that I can remember in a very long time. And I do think that if we continue to make really big strides this year, it will be because of him.
All right, number 2 on the list is, I think it would be, he asked, is Derek Brown ready to return to fill a huge void on the defense? He writes, the defenses undergoing started last early. Holy shit. The defense's undoing. Okay. Started early last year when Brown tore his meniscus in week 1 and was lost for the season. When Shaq Thompson went down with an Achilles injury 3 weeks later, the Panthers were without 2 of their best players and leaders on defense. Thompson is gone, the latest ex-Panther to join Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane in Buffalo. And while Brown's rehab has gone well, expect the Panthers to bring him along slowly in training camp so he's ready for the start of the season. That's a sound strategy given Brown's importance on the defense. The 2020 first-round pick from Auburn had a monster season in 2023, finishing with more tackles than any defensive lineman in NFL history and going to his first Pro Bowl. He's a monster. He's a big monster we need in the middle. And I don't think they need to do too much with him in training camp. I don't think they need to put him in a bubble necessarily, because you don't want someone to not have to be in shape, football shape, the rigors of, the heat, the play, and all of a sudden get back and just welcome back in week 1. But I don't think it's time for Brown to prove anything to anybody in training camp, and an opportunity for other guys to get important reps here. Derek Brown, interestingly, you know how G-Baby was talking about people that shit on people early in their careers, right? When it comes to Bryce Young, we forget about it. There were a lot of heavy-hitting Panther fans or Twitter analysts that after year 1 and year 2 were talking junk about Derek Brown, and now he is the toast of the town. And, he is a stalwart. We need him. This team needs him. And if you want to improve a defense that cannot stop the run, I can't see a better way than getting your best player against the run on the field.
Agreed. He's a game changer, I think. And I know I'm saying that Ivero didn't really have an excuse last year. If there was one excuse I would give any credence to, it's that Derek Brown was not there. That is it. That's a major impact on this team. I'm ready to see if he's able to bounce back. And I think he could, I'd like to say this, and I'm saying this as an optimistic Panthers fan, maybe he could get that comeback player of the year.
That would be great. The Panthers could use it in their attempt to get defensive comeback of the year.
To me, Derek Brown is what will make our defense run. If our defense runs effectively, it's because Derek Brown will be a monster in the middle, wreaking havoc. And this entire defense has the opportunity to flow faster through Derek Brown. It's like, I bring this up a lot. When Luke Kuechly won Defensive Player of the Year, the first thing he did was give credit to Starla Tulele and K'Wan Short. Yeah. If your interior defensive players are able to get that pressure, it just pays off in dividends for every other defensive player on the team. It allows your edge players to pin their ears back and get after the quarterback. It lets your linebackers be able to freely flow through the gaps. And it makes it makes life a hell of a lot easier on your defensive backs back there in the backfield. If the Panthers defense is going to be good this year, it's going to start with Derek Brown, bar none.
And there cannot be a bigger storyline going in the training camp and into the 2025 season, I'm guessing. Yes, it is. We are right. I was right. Joe Person writes, is Young poised to take the next step and put the Panthers in contention for a playoff spot? Joe Person for The Athletic writes, Young looked like a completely different quarterback at the end of last season than the one whose inconsistency and lack of confidence led to his benching after only 2 games. This version more closely resembled Bama Bryce and was encouraging enough for the Panthers that the Panthers decided to use a top 10 pick on a receiver rather than give Evero some help on defense. Young turned in his best 3-game stretch to close 2024 with 10 touchdowns, 7 passing, 3 rushing, and no turnovers against Arizona, Tampa, and Atlanta. His 5 TD game in the overtime win against the Falcons prompted Canales to pronounce the Panthers had our guy. Young needs to play that way from the jump this year if the Panthers hope to end the league's second longest playoff drought. Guys, I'm really optimistic about Bryce Young. Not only it's kind of like a force, like I need to be optimistic. I want to be optimistic. I mean, I'm always rooting for any of these guys that are on my team, not rooting against them. I don't have some inner desire to show that I was right at the expense of the team that I have to talk about each week, right? And I don't know. Didn't even have a right or wrong position on this. I just wanted Bryce. I want Bryce to work. You know, I'm really happy that turnaround happened. I think that it's going to be if this continues on the trajectory it did, it can go down as one of the great stories in football history about a player who turned it around, because this league is so unforgiving that, I mean, people were talking about cutting him, trading him, things like that. Then, I mean, like in the middle of the season. And like, as we were having conversations, will he ever be on the field as a starter for the Panthers? But like, we had this one comment, what is the pathway for him? Like, what would have to happen? And this is kind of one of those scenarios. I just, guys, I mean, like, we just need this to continue, that momentum. I do feel like everybody's just thought it's like a foregone conclusion that inertia continues. I mean, now the league's latching onto it, and I really hope it is an inertia that can't be stopped.
I mean, I think everybody on the Panthers, on Panthers Nation, is hoping that as well. I mean, it's the thing that I'm optimistic about is I think that there is a certain level of confidence that plays into the quarterback position too.
Yes.
And so because of that, I think that's been a double-edged sword for Bryce up to this point, because he's just been struggling with feeling like maybe he's been good enough, and now I feel like he has that confidence that maybe he hasn't had his entire time in Carolina up to this point,
Yeah.
So look, we have done so much to get the most out of Bryce Young in 2025. We are spending the most out of any NFL team right now on our offensive line. We have spent the last 2 first-round picks at wide receiver for Bryce Young. Not only do we have a 1,000-yard rusher in Trimble Hubbard, but we went out and got him another 1,000-yard rusher in the form of Rico Dowdle. That's not to mention Jatavion Sanders, the other wide receivers that are down the depth chart are also on this team as well. There's no more excuses for Bryce Young. I am so hopeful that this year Bryce is going to turn it around and actually be the guy that we moved up into the number 1 overall pick to draft. I need to see it first, because now there's no more excuses at all whatsoever. We have the weapons. We have the line. By the way, I didn't even mention, we brought in an offensive-minded head coach specifically to get the most out of Bryce Young. I'm very confident that Canales has learned how to use those empty formations to get the best out of Bryce, like they were able to do with him at Alabama. I feel like this could be a huge year for Bryce Young, and if it isn't, I don't know. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, won't we? If we get to it.
That's the show, right? I mean, we got some final things to clean up. There's no more slides. I do want to, and I have to go shortly. Just got poor news. My dad's sister passed away just now, so I need to give him.
Oh, sorry to hear that, man.
I do want to. A friend of mine sent this. You guys remember Kenyon Barner? Barner? From
The name sounds familiar.
running back super fast. This is him.
Yeah.
This is awesome. This is him talking about Greg Hardy. Let me make sure if you guys.
Out of Baltimore, Haloti Nada. I didn't even know who Haloti Nada was when I came from Arizona. So, bro, when we were in training camp, they would let him sit out individual drills, like offense and defense.
Didn't want to get hurt, probably.
I'm like, bro, why is he sitting out? Like, who is this dude?
It's not the right one.
So we go team. They let him sit out. So I'm like, bro, who is this?
Oh, is this not the right one?
Man, we played the Jets the first game.
There's one is that Kenyon Barner is talking about. Hold on, maybe he sent me two. My boy sent me these. There were two of them. This is Kenyon Barner. Who is this? Oh yeah, he sent me two. All right. Let's see. Hold on. Present. Same kind of story. Who is this guy? Type thing, right?
Freak of nature. They split me out wide. I motioned out wide, and I'm expecting a linebacker to come out with me. It's our defensive end. And now, mind you, I'm not in the slot. I'm at number 1. He has no business coming out here, but it's him. I have a go route. I'm like, you're dead. Cam, throw me the ball. Don't even look anywhere else. It's the defensive end on me. 180. 180. 180 is it? Give him my move. Get past him. I'm gone. I'm like 20 yards down the field. I hear. Greg Hardy is like 2 to 3 yards behind me. Greg Hardy was 285 pounds. I said, what in the are you? I run a 4.38. Why are you this close to me at 285 pounds? Greg Hardy, defensive end, Carolina Panthers.
Greg
Absolute
Hardy, freak of nature. Think about that is being welcome to the league. You run a 4.38.
He was one of, if not the main reason, why that 2013 defense probably remains the nastiest Panthers defense that we have ever seen. Like, we were the definition of suffocating, man.
60 sacks that year.
Yeah, just absurd, man.
What a terrible story. You know, he just recently got arrested for domestic, for choking a family member out.
Again? Oh, I didn't even see that. I know he had a failed UFC career, and then he had some boxing matches and got knocked the fuck out.
Yeah,
So,
what a tragic decline, you know. But I just thought it was cool.
So much potential, dude.
Yeah. All right. That's the C3 Panthers podcast. We got one last segment to rock out. Thanks for everybody who's hung out with us. Thanks for the calls. Thanks for the people that are listening in the chat, participating. You can continue to support the show by subscribing, listening, participating. Thank you for everybody who donated. Thank you for the new C3 super fans. Cody Lack, now it's time to hit them with the longest running segment on the longest running Panthers podcast. Let's ice some fools up.
Ice up!
Ice up, son. Ice up.
It's our time to ice up some fools. That is where everyone is fair game. It's our homage to Steve Smith, where we tell someone to ice up, toughen up to get it together. We don't have to stick with football. We can ice up each other. We can ice up ourselves. We can ice up whatever we want. Cody Lack, what you got for us tonight?
Yeah, man, I have 3 of them tonight, and all 3 of them, I got Neapolitans over here. They're all different flavors.
All right.
So we'll go with one that is highly deserving of the ice up. So everybody knows the California fires happened a couple months ago, and they did this giant benefit. And the benefit, or the concert rather, with a bunch of the biggest names in music, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. There was a bunch of other really big names there, but they raised $100 million, and the California Democrats funneled it to nonprofits instead. So almost no money has been used on actually rebuilding California or helping out the victims of the fires in California. Then you realize that the same thing happened in Australia, the same thing happened in Hawaii. If you're wanting to support victims of disaster, it seems like the best thing to do at this juncture is not pay money to millionaire musicians for tickets where you don't even know if the
just
money.
send somebody a check to a
Yeah.
random address in that neighborhood.
They're literally doing nothing to help the victims, dude. It's just absolutely disgusting. Yeah, truly sickening. People's lives were upended by that. I'm also, now here's a different flavor. I told you I got the Neapolitan tonight, right? So, listen, if you were, me and CK were both born in 1990.
Yep.
So if you grew up in the 1990s as a young man, your first wet dream was probably Britney Spears.
Oh, God.
Britney Spears.
I like Britney, by the way.
Britney Spears.
Oh gosh. This is.
It's just like performance art. I don't know what she's doing. She's wearing these low, cut off shorts. Like she looks like a soccer mom from a trailer park. That's like, and she's just like.
What's wrong with this? What's the problem with this?
Dude, how the mighty have fallen is just beyond me, man. Dude, just seeing a former bombshell like Britney Spears turn into that aunt that you never talked to,
toxic?
that stayed in the bad part of town, living in a trailer park. Just sad, man.
She's been partying. Look at them eyes. She's been partying for a couple of days.
Now, finally, because I like to deliver, and my man Tony likes to see violence.
I did.
And, dude, cyclists have to be some of the dumbest motherfuckers out there, right? Look at this dude. He's in the bike lane, but watch. There's a wreck right in front of him. Does nothing, literally does nothing to avoid it at all whatsoever. Runs right into the back of a cop motorcycle. Dude, get the fuck off of the road, dipshit.
Oh my god.
You don't deserve to be on the same road with responsible drivers. They are the most entitled pieces of shit who feel like they own the entire road. Bro, you fucking deserve it. Ice up, moron. Ice up.
Dude, it's so funny. My wife hates that as well, dude. It's absolutely horrendous.
That mug was just had his head down looking, as long as I'm on the green, everything's okay, right?
Yeah. Just had no care to look up even one time. Oh, I love that for him so much.
He's gonna need to ice up. CK, what do you got for us?
Man, I couldn't find the article because I was looking at it on my work computer and I can't, it's so many. So obviously we got the news today that Ozzy Osbourne, passed away. And which is wild. I almost, part of me was like wondering if it was like assisted suicide with the way that he went on this farewell tour with with his final performance and all that stuff, and just weeks later he's gone. But again, I have no information on that. It just makes me wonder if there was something going on there. But when I was going to look up, kind of seeing what details people knew about the passing, I was trying to, I came across an article. And I was wondering if this was just AI written, and honestly, I'm half expecting it to be the case. It was an article that was basically going through his life, and every other paragraph, it was basically every song that he ever wrote, it was always like the singer of this, the person who created, the creator of this,
the developer of
that's AI.
Like it's just all the time. Like, and so the entire time I'm just sitting there realizing that so many of our articles and our authors or writers or anything like that, I'm not going to be surprised if we find out that 80% of any of the literature we consume that is newly created is going to be created by artificial intelligence. So I'm just icing up the fact that there's just legitimate websites, and I'm pretty sure it was like a Rolling Stones article, by the way, that just house this absolute garbage.
Yeah. You should check out John Oliver's bit on AI slop. Now is what they call it. Like in that
AI slop.
Yeah. And it's just like all the stuff that is being put out there. And there's so much of it.
Yeah.
He wrote, there was an AI CEO that said, not all AI is spam, but all spam is AI. And there's a lot of these things going around that people that are all created that people believe, and it's fine. It's not fine to believe, but when the reason they believe it is because you're like, oh, you can't just base it off of this video. And they're like, no, I saw this other video, and it's like an AI. They're like creation of web of fake shit. Try being a teacher who teaches writing to deal with this. It's a nightmare. All right. I have 3, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the one that's the most political. I'll start with that one. Have you guys seen the video that's been floating around? I think it's an older event, but now it's big. The guy that has his window broken by the police.
Yeah, dude, I saw this.
So I generally lean towards like there's a lot of excessive force used, things like this. That there's like a full video I watched of like the full stop, and it's a lot more. I just say that if you're watching these and it's like this guy's going to get paid this and that.
Yeah.
There was a long build up to this. Now, I don't know if what the police did, and I don't have an opinion on if that's still excessive use. But the guy wouldn't get out of his car. They would say, they gave him a lot of time. Now, I don't think that when you pull him out, you got to beat his head again. I think there's a lot of things that we could talk about. But if you only base your position on that 20-second video or whatever from that one guy, like you didn't get to see the whole context. So iced up us making giant informed positions about the world on just such a limited context. All right. To my real ones, though, I know there's a role for music therapy in the world, right? This is how they wake up kids somewhere from anesthesia.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool. You bring in a little bit of rupture. I feel like this, and somebody wrote comments and be like, I thought I was dead when there was a miniature horse playing a keyboard. I feel like this is a little abrasive way to wake
Dude,
up.
imagine you're a kid and you wake up and you see a little Shetland pony next to you. Like,
yeah, but then you're like in the Twilight Zone. It's like a little abrasive wake up here.
Is that real? Is that how they actually wake them up, or is that just like a
one technique? I don't think that's the only way they wake them up. This is the actual handle that I saw the full video of that cop thing on. I was trying to look up. I couldn't spell it. I hate when I can't remember someone's name. All right. In the wake of more Caitlyn Jenner getting shit on by people in the WNBA.
Caitlin Clark?
Caitlin, yeah, cussing.
Yeah, wrong Caitlin.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark. You know how they all like, because so there's this other video is like, oh, she wasn't even the meeting, so they got mad at her for wearing the shirt that they decided all to wear. Like for some reason, this girl, Caitlin Clark, who made their sport or continues to make it the most relevant as ever.
Yeah.
They hate her. But this is after the WNBA All-Star game, and these WNBAers want to get in this club.
Hey, boss man.
Y'all got a section?
Yo.
It's down here. That is.
No, but we were angry though.
What section? You gotta go to everybody gotta go there where y'all are.
So what section is that?
I'll get the guys. bring y'all in.
Well, we in the W and shit, so we just got done at the All-Star game. So like, sorry, we don't need. I ain't even trying to be funny, but we should not be waiting in no line. Yeah, come on, you better hurry up while we get in.
All right, so watch this.
We getting in right now. Come on.
So they say, oh, so then the guys actually
Yeah,
let
she with
him
me.
in.
What you doing? I know. I need to count. Tati, go. Tati, go. I'm good. Tati, go. Y'all with me. Go, Mom. These are my people. Man, y'all, why we finna fucking go, bro? Because they doing too much. Come on.
They
We
ended
can
up
go somewhere else. Come
caving,
on.
and they said they give them 7 to come in, and then she tries to get in more than 7, and they make them all leave. So ice up to.
Did you see Shane Gillis's joke at the ESPYs?
No.
So his buddy that he does a podcast with, Matt McCusker, his wife was sitting next to him, and he was like, "Give it up for Brittany, WNBA All-Star," and they put her up on camera, and everybody applauds. He's like, "Yeah, I was just kidding. She's not in the WNBA. I just knew that none of y'all would know that."
He's on a tear right now. I don't know Willer, but I guess I'm icing up that you tried to use your star power, but then you overused it. They're like, nah, sorry. Star power runs out at 7, and then they made them all walk out. I love that. Ice up. That's the C3 Panthers podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. My name's Tony Dunn. I do it with my wheelman, Cody Black, and my homeboy, CK. It's been fun as usual. Cody, take us out of here.
C3 Legion, keep pounding.